Hey guys, welcome back to a little meta talk. I want to talk about the meta today. As I already said in my tier list video, I wasn't quite sure how the meta would play out. I told you that we have to see because of the introduction of the BYSTIALs, also the hits to tier limits, which I wasn't quite sure how they would end up impacting the deck. I have been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Over the last few days because I have the mission to reach Master 1 right now. As you have probably seen, I have reached Master 5 now. Mainly playing Dragon Link. I will also make a video on that where I have the stats that I have right now for going first, going second. Unfortunately, and that I will do next season, I have not tracked against which decks I played, so I have no win percentage against different decks, but I think that my data points are also too little to make a good to make a good saying about that. But let's look at the meta, and we are here on Master Duel Meta. I am here on the Master 1 top decks page, and this is where I have been a lot over the last few days. This is also where I got the basic structure for my Dragon Link list from, and I think it's a really awesome site to see what is going on in the meta. So meta obviously defined as most effective tactic available, so we are not talking about what's going on in gold, as decks that are played in gold are not most effective tactic is available, and the diversity in gold is pretty wide, I would say. In terms of seeing what works on the ladder right now, I think going to the Master 1 tab is quite a good idea. We could have also looked at some tournaments, but most of the tournaments that happened over the last few days were best of 3 format, so that doesn't really pan out, though the tournaments have resulted in similar results to the list we can see here. So you can see there were 12 or are 12 sprite decks entered here that have reached Master 1, 10 Telements decks, 7 BYSTIAL Meta 7, and then followed by Dragon Link with 4 decks. And that is what I have experienced over the last few days. I have played a lot of Dragon Links, I have played a bit of Telements, so we are talking from basically, I've started at Platinum 5, and then I've started at Platinum 5 and then played until I'm Master 5 now, and will play until Master 1. Probably I will continue climbing with Dragon Link. I've also played a lot of BYSTIAL and a bit of Sprite. And here's what I think. I think this representation of Sprite is correct. I also think that tier limit is not that amazing right now as it was before. I've played it myself. I found it to be extremely bricky, like extremely bricky. This is the brickiest decks of them all that you can play right now. BYSTIAL also being bricky sometimes, and Dragon Link is actually not that bricky. I have randomly drawn hands that were really bricks. Sometimes obviously it happens. Sprite also is kind of in the middle, not that bricky. These decks are way more bricky. Also is Flaunderies, especially with the hit to the terraforming, which also hit Flaunderies, unfortunately. So this is what it actually looks like at the moment. So tier elements, as I was saying, I think tier elements is really at a fine state right now, especially with the BYSTIALs, because in addition to the fact that it's way more bricky now, we have also the BYSTIALs, and the BYSTIALs can really fuck up the deck's strategy. If you manage to ban the kit colors, then it's basically game over. Without the Shizu cards, or with the most of the Shizu cards at 1, it's really tough for the deck. I think I would have liked that they put the Kelback also to 1, so all the Shizu cards to 1. I think all the Shizu cards to 1, that would be everything this deck needs to be tuned down. And maybe if you want to get it out of the top deck category, which obviously it's in currently, that there is nothing to say about that, but if you want to get it out of the top deck category in more of a tier 2 deck category, I think you also have to maybe, I don't know, limit another tier name to 1 or something. I think you do not have to ban kit colors to weaken the deck. I think that would destroy the deck, to be honest. So maybe go and put, I don't know, Shiren, which is definitely the strongest of the 3 names. I think put Shiren to 1, put the Ishizu, the last Ishizu card to 1, and then this deck can really be in a tier 2, tier 1 category and be fine, and people that like it can still play it. That I would like. I don't like decks to be completely killed. I'm not sure why one would do that. Obviously we all invested into this deck, so that would be, yeah, a bit sad. Then we're coming to Sprite. I think Sprite is actually, and it's a good representation here. I think Sprite is the most balanced and good deck here. It's not that impacted by BYSTIALs, because what do you want to BYSTIAL? The Sprite Blue or the Sprite Jet? It's not that impactful against Sprite. It's way more impactful against BYSTIAL when you remove their Fawn of Albases or something, or their I forgot the name, the Albion, or some of the dragons that they put to the graveyard to be activated in end phase. If you banish them, That's way more impactful, obviously super impactful against tier elements, that's for sure. And yeah, so Sprite is not that affected by the BYSTIALs. I also think that Dragon Link has not the greatest matchup against Sprite, and I also think that I will see a lot of more Sprite decks now in Master than I have seen in Diamond, where I have not seen a lot of Sprite decks. I also have not seen a lot of tier elements decks. That I have to say, it's at the moment very mixed. It's really very mixed. I tend to see a bit more Dragon Link decks right now, also a lot of Brand SBA decks in Diamond, not so much in Master right now, and a few Flounderies here and there, sometimes Emancipator, sometimes what have I also seen, sometimes Exo Sister, I think Tenny I've seen a few times. So my personal opinion is that I really like the meta because it's really diverse, and I don't have the feeling that there is one deck that is way better than every other deck, like it was before, the season before, when Tier Element was still at full power with the Shizu cards. Their Tier Elements just feel like the best deck by far. I do not think that Tier Elements is the best deck right now. I would put Sprite over Tier Elements, to be honest, then maybe Tier Elements, but you could also make an argument that Brand Despia and Dragon Link is better than Tier Element. Dragon Link is better than Tier Element because it has such a nice matchup against Tier Elements. Obviously, this is one of the best counters against Tier Elements. That is why I would also put Dragon Link over Tier Elements, to be honest. Flounderies also always up there, is not affected by Maxi, which is pretty nice. It's not really affected by the BYSTIALs because they only have Wind Monsters. So also really nice Flounderies in a fine state, I think. Still a good deck. So I have to say I like the meta at this point. It's very diverse, even in the highest echelons, even in Master, even in Diamond. It's a very diverse field. I like playing that, especially because there is no deck that is really feels super unfair. Even playing against Tier Elements, they brick so often, then they mill 5 and they hit nothing, or mill 3 with Merly and hit nothing, or because there aren't that many shufflers and millers anymore in the deck. I really like the meta. Nothing feels too oppressive, and yeah, I would say to you, go out, play a bit, enjoy the meta as long as it's like it is right now. With the next pack, we are expecting Kashtira and also the Labyrinth support. I don't know, I think they will pre-hit Kashtira a bit like they did in the OCG. In the TCG, it was just recently hit. I think they will hit it a bit, though keep in mind Kashtira will most likely not be the most oppressive deck ever, depending on the pre-hits it will get. And then I'm really interested in whether they will once again hit Tier Elements. I think at this moment you don't really need to hit Tier Elements, to be honest. There could be a bigger argument to hit Sprite a bit more. I'm not sure what they will do. I don't think that something like Dragon Link or Branded Despia will get a hit, but we will have to see. So this is my take when it comes to the meta right now. Really diverse. I really like it. I have a lot of fun on the ladder right now. I did enjoy the start of the Tier Elements meta, where everyone was basically playing Tier Elements, but then it got stale really fast. I also really hated the meta before that, when we only had the Ishizu cards. This was the worst meta ever, when we only had the Ishizu cards and there were all these zombie vampire decks that just milled the entire deck and you never got to play. This was the most unfun it ever was, in my opinion. This format is really nice. I have the feeling I could play Sprite, I could play Tier Elements, I could play Branded, I could play Flounderies, I could play Dragon Link, or I have all these decks. I have the feeling, or I could even play Emancipator or Sword, so I have the feeling I could take any one of these decks and go Master 1 with it. Obviously, with, for example, an Emancipator or Swords of Tandy, I think I would have to grind a bit more than I would have with Sprite. Obviously, you can also take something like Black Wings and go Master 1, but trust me when I say you this, you don't want to, because this deck is super hit or miss, super random. If you get lucky a lot, then you can make it. Otherwise, it's just a blah grind. You don't want to do it, or with Trap Tricks or something. Obviously, basically any deck could hit Master 1, but there are obviously ones that are where it's way more easy, and then ones where it's way harder. So this is my take on the meta. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you like my videos, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and activate the notification bell. That helps out a lot, and we will see each other in the next one.